good morning to you all and welcome to Inside Nigeria, coming your way live from Leadership Podcast Studio. This morning we have a lot of interesting stories to share from the various headlines on the papers we have in the studio this morning. But I'd like to begin with Leadership newspaper. My name is Tion Joseph, your regular host. On Leadership this morning, the lead story says CBN cash withdrawal limits, 25 days to January take-off. Senate wants policy reviewed. Circulation of new Naira notes kicks off today. That is what we have on the front page of Leadership newspaper. But as usual, you can always have more stories. You just have to log on to our website, www.leadership.ng, and you will be served. Now let's take a look at the report coming from the Punch newspaper. On the Punch this morning, the lead story says banks reconfigure ATMs. New Naira enters circulation today. Bank officials complain of small allocations from CBN. Emefiele to appear before reps over withdrawal limits. That is the report from the Punch. That takes us to this day. On this day, the list says NEITI, 619.7 million barrels of crude oil valued at 16.25 trillion naira lost to theft, sabotage in 12 years. Calls for special panel on Glencore scandal, indicting Nigerian officials. That is the report from this day, this morning. That takes us to the Nation. Hiccups in PVC distribution. Prospective voters beseech centers. We are addressing challenges. That is the report from the Nation. Short and clear. To conclude the first part of the show this morning, let's look at the Vanguard. The list story on the Vanguard this morning says, Buhari, I've done my best. MBF, Ahaneze, others differ. Buhari has done well, APC campaign. His best not good enough, SDP, ADC. You fade, Nigerians worse off in 7.5 years, MBF tells Buhari. President's best is abysmal failure, says Pandef. It's unfortunate that this is Buhari's best for Nigerians, says Ohaneze. It's an honest admission of failure. Afenifere, Buhari's best has left Nigeria worse than he met it. Labour Party. That is the report coming from the Vanguard this morning, and that concludes the first part of the show. We crave your indulgence to stay tuned for the second part of the show. My name is Tion Joseph, and I'll be back your way 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Until then, do have a great day.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 0. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed. Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Good morning and welcome to the breakfast edition of Inside Nigeria. The program is reaching you on Leadership Television. As you can see with me in the studio is a public affairs analyst and is also a political scientist, Olamilekan Adekolare. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me, and good morning to our viewers.
Good morning, viewers. And my name is Winifred Ugwebo, your host on the program. Thank you so much for joining in. As you can see, we have so many papers on our menu for review and discussion today. As usual on the program, we are flagging off with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership says CBN cash withdrawal limits, 25 days to January takeoff. Senate wants policy reviewed. CBN cash withdrawal limits, 25 days to January takeoff. Senate wants policy reviewed. Circulation of new Naira notes kicks off today. CBN cash withdrawal limits, 25 days to January takeoff. Senate wants policy reviewed. Circulation of new Naira notes kicks off today. That is Leadership newspaper. The Punch has similar story with Leadership newspaper, and it says banks reconfigure ATMs, new Naira enters circulation today. Banks reconfigure ATMs, new Naira enters circulation today. Bank officials complain of small allocations from CBN. Emefiele to appear before reps over withdrawal limits. That is the latest stories on Leadership and the Punch newspaper on the new redesigned Naira notes.
I think
25 days to go.
I think there I was on the sister station this morning, and it was the glaring fact that many Nigerians are hopeful that today they are going to touch a new quips in Naira notes. Many of us are hopeful.
But how hopeful are you that maybe these banks will actually start circulating the new Naira notes, given the fact that they are complaining that they have small allocations from CBN?
No matter how small the allocation they get, I will get mine. If you get to the bank or get to the ATM, definitely you will receive. And so maybe you go to the POS agent that may not get the new Naira note. But SBN have already said that that they are giving to all of them based on what is required, because we are going to be using both the old one and the new one
Side by side.
till January 25th that the old one will.
Yes, I just expressed my fears just before we came on air. I was like, now that banks are going to be circulating new Naira notes today, how are you sure? You know how Nigerians do things that or market people in the market, sellers, those offering services and businesses, they will still accept new notes. Old notes.
Definitely they will accept the old ones. And from the bank angle, I know the bank will be a little bit rational in disbursing the new one based on the availability of the one they have. And when the CBN does that, not that you give it directly to a particular branch, you give it to the headquarter or zonal head of the particular branch, and it will be distributed from there to other branches of that particular bank. But the challenge, as you have really pointed out, will the bank willingly give it to people as requested? And that will be on the idea or the thinking of the bank manager, because definitely they may have preferred people based on how strong you are with them in terms of your account to get it. So I know what we are expecting, most of us will be seeing majorly that will be more regular out is the 200 naira note. The 500 naira and the 1,000 naira, they will be on the scarce model, as CBN has already said that as from now, it is 200 naira, there will be much in circulation than 500 and the 1,000 naira. So we expect, for me, I just expect that this note will be out. People can access it. And as I'm leaving the studio today, as I'm exchanging one or two things, I'm going to get a new note from somebody that will say, okay, take for your change or take for something or like that. So we expect it to go around, and with time, it will balance up and to move. Just like one of my friend, a public affairs friend of mine, said, it may be initially it may be scarcity of it, but with time, in the next 1 month, 2, 3 months, we just see that everything
have the
has
flow.
full flow of the new naira note. But Nigerians should not panic about the exchange. We will continue to use the old ones alongside the new one. That is what CBN have said, and that's
But the Senate, National Assembly, the Senate wants the policy reviewed, and at the point we see that MEPD is to appear, that is the CBN governor, is to appear before reps over withdrawal limits.
Definitely, people have been calling for policy. The policy should be reviewed. I'm talking about, the policy are two, but they are one, just a one coin, different side.
Yes.
One is about a limit. The other one is about the new naira note, which will stop using the old one by January 25th, and the other one by 9th of January or thereabout. Now, the issue is that the one for the limit is where the the senator are having issue, because they say 50,000, 100,000 and 500,000 is not enough. That the CBN should find a way to increase
individual and
corporate. And I think CBN may tinker around that aspect. But the ones that has to do with the redesigning, the CBN may not accept an extension on that regard, because they have made up their mind, especially on the angle that it is dealing with security issues.
Besides that is the fact that he also has the backing of Mr. President.
Exactly. Even this other one also have the backing of the Mr. President. But we're just looking at it from the angle that, okay, because of the limitation, how could someone just withdraw 100,000 from the counter? Although from the counter, you have other means to also exploit to withdraw money or spend your money. But we all understand from the angle of the economy, especially on the aspect of online banking, online payment system, that CBN want to inculcate into the consciousness of Nigeria, which most of us have supported. But on the other angle is that, can we just have an increase in the limitation of what we can withdraw? Maybe to a 200,000, even to a 500,000 for an individual for a week, and 5 million for corporate organization for a week, because corporate organizations are the ones dealing much with current and naira. So we can understand that angle from their own argument, which most of us are supporting. But at the same time, we should not allow this policy to just be a flip-flop one that, at the end of the day, it will look like the CBN is not serious and Nigeria doesn't want a disciplined means of ensuring that our payment system is in line and in tandem with global best practice.
Thank you so much for that. Now, we are on Vanguard newspaper. Actually, it's a story that has been trending and generated so many heated conversation since it broke. Buhari says, I've done my best. Middlebelt Forum, Ohaneze, others differ. Buhari, I've done my best. MBF, that is a Middlebelt Forum, Ohaneze, that is a social cultural organizations, others differ. Buhari has done well, APC campaign, and SDP ADC say his best not good enough. You failed, Nigerians worse off in 7.5 years. Middlebelt Forum tells Buhari, President's best is abysmal failure, Pandef. It's unfortunate this is Buhari's best for Nigerians, Ohaneze. It's an honest admission of failure, Afenifere. Buhari's best has left Nigeria worse than he met it, Labour Party. I was reading the story yesterday that some of the one feature that won award was investigation was that in Ogun State, a Yewa community has said some armed herdsmen were killing people, and they asked them to go. Yet they came back with some military men, and they were flogging them that they should allow those people to come back and stay.
And
So what will you do in such situations?
In such situations,
situations are rampant in almost across the nation.
Definitely.
So what will the state government do?
The state governors
security that are armed and they their own outfits is not armed.
Definitely, we understand that. But some of these happenings, is it that the presidency is the one that asks those people to commit such activities? I'm just trying to lay a foundation so that we can understand that the presidency may not even know or have an understanding of a particular issue
but you have been in this country and you've heard of what has happened. We heard about when some alleged armed herdsmen slaughtered so many people in Benue. Was it during the first administration? The president told Autumn that they should learn to live with them. So what are you talking about?
Definitely, I understand that regard, but when it comes to Benue State communal,
so in terms of security, it's
very, very deep.
The buck stops on the president's table, and we know recently when he said that finally, I read the word that finally he has given instruction to the security to go after them. That he has finally given. Meaning, I drew the attention of somebody closer. Oh, that means then all those one was just service. He was not totally that, but now finally they say that he has finally given. So what are we talking about in terms of security?
Sorry
the buck actually stops.
This particular discussion is very sensitive in itself. Anytime we talk about and we put the entire blame at the presidency, sometimes I find it, not that it's not easy to understand, but sometimes, like what you said, he said he has finally give instruction. On several occasions, he has been giving instruction. But on most times, those instructions were not followed. Or as you said, lip service.
They were just maybe lip service. But and of course, nobody knows what takes place in the Security Council meeting. But he said finally he has given his instruction to them to tackle these terrorists. So now that everybody is taking the president apart, that no, I think that they are also on the wrong, because if the president says he has given his best, that does not mean that that does not translate to superlative performance. What it means is that they could have said that, oh, your best not good enough. Not that they will take him on as in the president did say that, oh, he has performed incredibly well. There's a difference between when somebody says he has given his best and whether the best actually translated to physical gains.
Especially in the area of development that most of us are talking about. We can see that in some areas you could see visible changes, but in some areas it is totally zero. Take for instance power sector. Up to today, that is the bane of our economic underdevelopment. Have they done very well? Nobody. If you ask me to score them now, I'll just give them 7 over 100. That is it, because
you are even being
fair.
Because they came and met about 4,000 megawatts. Nigeria has been oscillating between that range. It has been static on 4,000 megawatts transmission of electricity since the administration came on board. And what have we now? It has as a matter of fact, the national grid has collapsed up to 9 times this year.
Exactly.
Alone, and
it's still counting.
And the power has not improved in any case. The power has even gone downward. I think if they even have to calculate it, it's all that Nigeria is just now between about 2,000 and 3,000 watts personally.
Exactly. And the problem of that particular sector is not that the problem cannot be solved, rather the government have not seen it thoroughly that this is the way it's supposed to tackle all this intervention they are doing in the area of economy. This is what is sucking whatever they put into the economy for the people. Is in the SMA, the MSA. This is what is sucking, because we give somebody loan, even people that collect loan from bank, but they will tell you that they are spending so much on energy to carry out their production, and the government is yet to understand this particular rhythm of our economy.
It's really sad. So what is your take? Are the sociocultural organizations, or Hanese, Middle Belt Forum, Pandev, so are they on the, how will I put it now, right in their assessment?
The assessment of majority of sociocultural organization is majorly on security. If you ask them that which area do they think the presidents have failed, they will just mention security. And if you understand, 3 of them, Afenifere, MBF, and Hanese, they have been on the forefront of this issue of herdsmen, farmers clashes, kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism in Nigeria. That is a major concern about Nigeria. And another issue they'll tell you about is about revenue sharing. They are the ones that have been calling for a structure that will ensure that the regional you can have a regional government in Nigeria, or the state can have control over their resources. And if they measure that, if they also take you a measurement of that aspect in terms of Buhari performance, they will tell you that that's failed. Then the issue of education. They have been at the forefront of telling government that settle ASU and make ASU to be more functional. And this non-nonchalant attitude towards our university education is very poor on their side. So they will also score him very, very low.
But on the issue of ASU, anyway, ASU strike did not start during this administration. So I don't think any person in Nigerians, you see them rating, during his time, they went on strike. If you go through the history of ASU, like I always said that I personally did 6 years for a 4-year course. ASU is perennial. ASU strike in Nigeria is a perennial thing. They have been on strike incessantly over the years. So it just didn't start during this administration. So
I agree with you, but the most Nigerians will believe that the President Buhari government has the opportunity to right the wrong of the many years of ASU.
When the federal government doesn't have money, we are borrowing. So where do you expect federal government to get money to give ASU?
If you ask any ASU member that is it about money, they'll tell you it's not about money. But they are talking about the political way to get things done for the people. That is what they will tell you. It is not about money. Because majority of us will think it's really about their salaries, is it about their allowance. We know money is also part of it. After all, President Buhari was so magnanimous that he released a huge sum of money in terms of the intervention fund. The money they use in settle all the allowances, EE allowances they are calling. It was the first person that released over 3 billion for them. Even that 50 billion or whatever they released, that's a cost problem between ASU, NASU, and Sasanu in terms of the sharing formula. It was after they have finished sharing that particular one, they now came back and started talking about interventional fund for investors. So it's not just about the money, it's about the political will to get things done and continue to do what is needful in terms of the 100 billion they are asking for every year for infrastructure facilities.
Then what happened to TED Fund?
TED Fund is doing its own. But the key thing is that, just like they have said, just like somebody said, is it SDP that SDC that said that the best is not enough. No matter amount of money TED Fund will give to any investor, it will never be enough for them. I was in Investor Abuja saying and I was seeing TED Fund project.
Exactly. And that's saying you still give them extra money. And that TED Fund is actually for them alone. You know, TED Fund
exactly
actually is as a result of one of these struggles that TED Fund came. You know, it was education tax fund before later translated to tertiary trust fund, education trust fund. So at the end of the day, is just like what you said, is money ever enough? Because you know that there are so many sectors too of the economy that needs intervention. So you don't expect federal government to just channel all the resources it has to just
look at this 2023 budget. 450 billion is for the universities alone. We're not talking about polytechnic. But the issue now is that as that money has been put into the 2023 budget, the release of it will be a challenge. Yes. Because and the way they have put it out, they are be able to marshal out how each of the universities will get their own 35 billion, 25 billion, 20 billion, each of them to the list. And it is federal universities. So it's not about salaries, it's about infrastructure in the university. And it is for federal university alone. What about the state government? That's why I said from the initial, these people, are they holding their state governors account for developmental issues and minor security issues? What about water? What about primary health? Can they also remain their government?
You know, just like we discussed in our health program yesterday, we saw health too, you know, is on the concurrent list. Federal government is in charge of tertiary health institutions. You have specialist hospitals, teaching hospitals. Federal government is in charge. And you have when you have general hospitals, state governments are in charge. Like in FCT here, you have all these general hospitals. They are under FCT. Yes, and primary healthcare centers are under the purview of local government. But at the end of the day, you still see that the federal government will still be making interventions in local government.
Exactly.
Which is not supposed to be.
And you ask, the money that the particular local government is budgeted for health, what does it go to?
Who does it go to?
The state governors have hijacked everything. And it is solely from the state government house to the headquarters down to the rural area. That's what they do.
That is just, yes, I agree with you. Most of these Nigerians should hold their governors also accountable, because at the end of the day, federal government is still making interventions into sectors that it has no business doing. But because the state governments are not doing it, they are totally paralyzed. What they do, that is why they are fighting against the local government autonomy.
Exactly.
Because they just want to, they collect their monies, and remittance is always a difficult thing. That is why when few years ago, the primary school teachers were actually protesting that they want to be brought under the purview of federal government, because they know that under state or local government, getting salary is very, very difficult. And you discover that his schools under all these unity schools under the federal government are
well managed, and the teachers don't have issues, well paid
than
remunerated in terms of their welfare package.
Oh yes, that is just the situation on ground. It's a sorry one. Yes, we are moving on. You're still on to Inside Nigeria, talking about the breakfast show. We are discussing some papers and headline stories. The Guardian also has the same story on cashless economy. It said 80 billion naira USSD debts weaken digital channels as new naira notes arrive. 80 billion naira USSD debts weaken digital channels as new naira notes arrive. Visit your bank today for redesigned bill. CBN urges Nigerians. FASWA, Nigeria should join global trend. Pay attention to real challenges. Let e-payment evolve naturally, says Yusuf. AMPO to engage CBN on negative impacts of policy on agents. Low smartphone penetration may hinder service. CHRICED urges revocation of draconian policy. Yeah, just like I keep saying, we have so many artisans that are not on. So does it mean that when you want to make payment, even if a payment as little as maybe 100 naira, you will still have to make transfer?
I don't think even now that the policies have not been implemented, most of us still give the cash. Such is very little. What the CBN is trying to do through these policies is that there are some outrageous amount that you need to do transfer with. You do just have to do the transfer.
Yes,
but as little as 100 naira, 200 naira, you will definitely have that cash with you, or you can even borrow from somebody to pay for such. But the key thing is that, just like Dr. Tope Faso has said in Guardian, that we should join the global trend of countries that are moving forward. Most of us that travel abroad and see what is happening there. And again, for me, practically in this particular policies, that we have embraced other conventional international policies. Now, when it comes to this particular one, some people are saying we should not do it. Like this particular NGO that is saying it's draconian policy. That NGO is collecting donor money to fund its program. So where does it get the money? It's not transfer they do for them. And they also their members travel abroad to go and for conferences and all these things. Do they use cash all over? So they should think about it. It's not a draconian any law. It's more like a seamless policy to help us to do transaction online. That is just it.
Okay, let's go on the break. When we come back, we are looking at more papers we have for review and discussion. Don't go away.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
You're welcome back. In case you're just joining us, is Inside Nigeria on Leadership Television. With me in the studio is Olamilekan Adefolare. It's always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
And my name is Winifred Ugbebo. We are looking at the two papers we have on our many talking about the nation. The nation says hiccups in PVC distribution. Hiccups in PVC distribution. Prospective voters beseech centers. We are addressing challenges. That is obviously from INEC. Prospective voters beseech centers. We are addressing challenges. Hiccups in PVC distribution. Now I begin to wonder, why should there be hiccups if people who registered in centers that they know, the PVCs are supposed to be there ready for them to collect?
I think the way INEC structure the program is like it will also end up at the ward level. So, but from my own understanding of the hiccup that is coming, it's more or less like a logistic things in the sense that maybe people are now people in rush in good numbers to that INEC center to go and collect their, and INEC, they were overwhelmed. That would have what have happened. And that overwhelming means that majority of people may be on them to collect their PVC. And the way they may have arranged those PVC in each ward, maybe in the bureaucratic way of dealing with people, may be too slow to attend to all the peoples at the same time. But that could be with the challenge they're having. But I know that as INEC said, they say they are working seriously on how to reduce those logistics and those hiccups that have been coming up from that. Because in their own envisaging, they didn't envisage that this kind of thing will happen. They didn't envisage that a lot of people will come and barrage their centers at this point in time. Although they should have a plan B. And their plan B is that they should have alternative places where people can also get it. Because the way they are structured is by January 26th, that's when it will end. But before then, it will be taken to the ward level, it will be taken to the zonal level, it will be taken to the local government level.
Away from those centers.
Centers, yes, that's how they are planned. That's the deadline or the way they have arranged it in their timetable. So it won't just be at these centers alone. Even to your ward level, the ward you are going to vote, your PVC can be collected at that place also. But I think it will be after now they'll start moving to that place. But now it's at a centralized place, and that centralized place cannot accommodate the huge numbers of people that are coming to passage their
Now, another question is that we've been seeing various videos of some PVCs dumped somewhere. Even INEC has also called for raise the alarm over it. Now one begins to wonder how did this PVC leave the sanctity of
the INEC
hallowed chamber and found itself maybe outside in those places, because actually they are INEC's property. So how come they are out of it? It doesn't make sense.
The thing is this: the Nigerian politicians are very, very crafty. Don't be surprised that most of the recruitment exercises that INEC normally do to recruit their staff, some of them comes all the way from politicians in those various states. And once they are there in the INEC, they begin to manipulate whatever processes INEC is doing. Then you ask, how did they get those bag of Ghana must go? It is as a result of their people who are working for the politicians, but they are also members and staff of INEC that must have done that. Now there's a news that people are selling PVC. And I was like asking, how did they sell the PVC? How did they buy it? Because I knew during the Edo election, that was one of the things that people are talking, even the Ekiti election and Osun election, and they are selling PVC. And I was like, how is it that they will collect the physical PVC from you or a photocopy from you? Then on the day of the election, they will not give it to you back.
Because when INEC raised the alarm over it that people were buying PVCs and selling too. So my question was, is there something INEC is not telling us? Because from all explanations given so far, beavers is only by thumb and facial recognition. So whether they are buying PVCs or selling PVCs is inconsequential, because at the end of the day, if the PVCs are in the hands of other people, they are not going to be captured. So what is really happening?
Although from another angle that I've been able to understand this particular thing, it can only happen at the ward level, and it could only happen to political members of that political party. This is how I understand it. Now, if a political party they have domination in the particular area, they can easily collect the PVC of their members and keep. You understand? But if it is a dispersed area like we are, they can't do that. I would like hand over my PVC for you for 20,000. Rather, we will also give us photocopy of it, which is easy to give. But the main PVC, which we can also use for other things, like other transactions, maybe you want to go and register something in bank, you want to go and update something from you also use your PVC as collector in terms of so that the identification. So how will somebody sell that PVC? But we cannot rule out the creativity and the ingenuity of our politicians. They could also think out of the box and say, this is how we are buying PVC, which most of us may not know. But from my own understanding is that to buy PVC from somebody, you must have to collect it from that person and keep. And it is the original you
Yes,
keep.
and that is where you have to buy and keep. And when you buy and keep, but beavers, if the PVC is in another hand,
And
apart from the
the owner, he
so
can't
how
vote.
is he going to vote?
That person
that's why
cannot
I said,
vote.
is there anything INEC is not telling us?
And again, even if people want to rig election in the rural areas that all this buying PVC, because they may not even buy it, they can just influence them with more material things and they will just vote for them. But one thing I understand is that they can also do is that they can use the opportunity to tell the people, okay, you are voting for us. Okay, this is what we'll do for this A, Y, Z that we'll do for you. But on the other hand, that we have understood some of these things that they will not be able to do it in a way that people will give them their PVC that easily. But in the rural areas, they may not even buy their PVC. Just speaking to a head of community alone and say, okay, this is the world we want to go, they will follow it. Most of us that have opportunity to witness election in rural area, you see that once a community come out and say, this is where we are going, it happens.
Now, I begin to wonder again, with all the enlightenment and awareness campaign going on, why are Nigerians still falling prey, selling their PVCs?
They are just selling, they are exchanging it for cash. That's what the report is saying. But in exchanging it for, because poverty has been weaponized in Nigeria, everybody is hungry. And there's no amount of money you give to them in terms of buying this PVC that will be enough. They can sell to 2-3 people, other parties, as long as it's in their hand. But what is happening is that the politicians have understood that the only way to get the consciousness of Nigeria in this electoral process is to give them material things or cash at hand. And that's what is happening. And because poverty is just ranging in the country, so everybody can easily give out and collect. And that's what is happening. And it's not happening in the rural area alone. It's also happening in urban centers. Yesterday in Gwagwalada, a group number of people gather in a particular area. That was I was made to understand that area is the stronghold of a particular political party. And I don't know what are they expecting from the big man that came there. Maybe we'll give them something. So that's how it has been. So we just hope that it can change.
It will continue to be. I just hope there will be change. And it could also be because of people have lost trust in the system.
Exactly.
They have lost faith. So they just be that let them collect. After all, when they get there, they will still
they will forget us and they will go and do what they want to do. And in case some people will even collect it and not even on the day of election, you will not see them at the voting point.
Let's go over to the last paper we have on our menu today, and that is THISDAY. THISDAY says Haiti 619.7 million barrels of crude oil valued at 16.25 trillion naira lost to theft, sabotage in 12 years. Haiti 619.7 million barrels of crude oil valued at 16.25 trillion naira lost to theft, sabotage in 12 years. Calls for special panel on Glencore scandal indicting Nigerian officials.
This report is just coming a week after the NNPC report. And after NNPC said we have been able to recover and we're able to improve in our production from 900,000 barrels per day to 1.6 million barrels per day. And we also been able to stop all the sabotage around illegal refineries that's operating. I just hope that the native report is telling us the fact, because all other reports that we have been hearing, we have seen different figures from different people and different organizations. We just want an harmonized report that can really put us in a real focus. With this kind of report, I just hope that the government can take it, plus the one of the NNPC and other independent investigator, put it together and be able to do a forensic audit of all, so that what we need is a plan work of all these reports, so that we can know the kind of strategies to use against oil theft in Nigeria and illegal refinery activities.
One of the main reasons why people hate the PIA was that there's going to be transparency in the oil sector, but this has not been the order of day since the passage.
Because there's still more work to be done on the PIA himself. Because some certain stakeholders are still not yet happy. The host community with their 3.5%, they are not yet happy. The oil company are still finding it difficult to understand giving another 3.5% to communities after NDDC, after this, after all that tax that will be collected. Then the oil stakeholders, and so the people who operate all the rigs, the oil company, they are also looking at their businessmen, so they're also thinking about what best could it be for us with different laws coming from here. So I just hope that Nigerian government and the stakeholders in the oil company can sit right and do the best for Nigeria. And don't forget, that the PIA has also unbundled the NNPC into about 3 agencies, which we hope that they can fine-tune their work together and give us the best. Because as of today, if not for the DSS ultimatum, there would have still continued to be a long queue in Abuja filling station and Lagos. But because of DSS ultimatum, you can see that the queue has reduced.
Yes.
That's to tell you that something is fishing between Ipman, Mormon, and NNPC.
And I hope it's lasting.
Definitely, it can be sustained if the DSS can sustain the ultimatum they are giving to them.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your presence today. Well, viewers, thank you so much for keeping faith with us on the program. And this is where we call it a day on today's Inside Nigeria. Don't forget, same time, same station. Tomorrow is another day. I remain Winifred. See you. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.